What if I told you there was a secret Nightmare on Elm Street movie that you probably hadn't seen? A full-blown, official, hour-long prequel that featured Robert Englund in makeup as Freddy Krueger. What if I told you that it was directed by Tobe Hooper, the director of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Why, it's a dream come true! Or is it a nightmare? Because the show's called Freddy's Nightmares. You know, sometimes life surprises you. You think you've seen it all. You think there's no more joy to be squeezed out of dingy 80s slasher movies. You've seen teenagers chopped up in every kind of way, and the magic is just gone. It's almost like you don't even want to see people get brutally murdered anymore. But every now and then, something comes along and reminds you that you can still be surprised. And I needed this, let me tell you. Due to some recent professional developments, I've been feeling a little bit down in the dumps. Hey Mildo, are you talking about how my company, Duke Industries, bought out your YouTube channel? And now you work for me? And I, Bobby Duke, the star of the channel, am now the owner of the channel? And I have full editorial control over your work? Yep. Oh, I'm sorry, Mildo. It probably stings knowing that without you, I was more successful than you could ever hope to be, and I can literally buy and sell you. This video is brought to you by the Ridge Wallet. Now, Mildo, I went ahead and wrote some copy for you to read there. If you could go ahead and read that verbatim, please. Even though I don't understand finances like Bobby Duke does, still gotta have a wallet. This sleek, stylish little number holds up to 12 cards with room for cash. This is my previous wallet. This is my Ridge Wallet. This one holds more, almost twice as many cards. Not only that, it blocks RFID signals so nobody can use their doodads to get my credit card info. And each Ridge wallet is made from premium materials and comes with a lifetime warranty. So this could very reasonably be the last wallet you ever buy. Look at this. I got the clip on the front. I got the band on the back. It didn't come with that. I installed it. Go to ridge.com/scaredycats and use coupon code scaredycats, all one word, for 15% off your first order. I highly suggest the olive green color. I don't know if this comes across on the camera, but it looks real nice in real life. Real good. Looks real good. So if we're done with the copy now, I think that we can move on. Are we done with the copy? Because I seem to recall there was more on that sheet. I hereby apologize for my thoughtless disregard for Bobby Duke's feelings and recognize that he is now and forever the undisputed star of the channel. Also, I recognize the irony of this storyline being started by me nitpicking the problematic aspects of the Western genre only to then go on to do problematic shit myself. Yeah, you know what? Actually, that's a good point. I fucked up pretty bad in my review of the film Ravenous. Among other insensitive behaviors, I used a word that I did not know was something that many Algonquin people urge settlers not to say. I have no excuses to offer for this, I simply did not do my due diligence. This isn't the first time I've made a mistake like this, but rest assured I did learn my lesson this time. In the future, I will work harder to actually ensure I've done proper vetting of my material, and when I blab on about cultures I know nothing about, I will do my best to run what I say past someone who's actually from that culture and does know what they're talking about to ensure I'm being appropriate and sensitive. So for whatever it's worth to anybody, I recognize that I fucked up and I'm very sorry. I would take it down or put in a disclaimer or something, but unfortunately, for now, I am contractually obligated to leave it as it is. Having said that, let's get back to some silly horror fun. Freddy's Nightmares was an anthology horror series hosted by Freddy Krueger, the famous knife-handed murder clown. It's basically a shoddier version of Tales from the Crypt, with 2 stories per episode and less violence and explicit sexuality. And I said less, not none. Robert Englund, in full Freddy regalia, in his prime, introduces and caps off each story, doing little skits and bits. Longtime residents of the Scaredy Litterbox know I'm a huge Nightmare on Elm Street fan. I've known of this series for literal decades. I've read the Wikipedia article for this series many times with longing in my heart, but I've never actually watched it. It was hard to find it in any form where the video quality made it worth watching. But now, you can watch the whole series in decent quality on the streaming service Screambox. So what better time? Today, I'd like to talk about the first episode titled No More Mr. Nice Guy, which tells the origin story of Freddy Krueger, which we already knew, except this time we get to see the boring parts of it. We get to see the events which led up to Freddy becoming a dream monster ghost that previously we had only heard characters talk about, because why would you put it in? It's pretty boring. Now, don't get your hopes up here too much, because it's not very good, but it's not very good in the most delightful possible way. It has this charming mix of genuinely creepy ideas, some fresh takes on the established mythos, but it's all executed so amateurishly that you can't help but laugh at it. It doesn't feel like an episode of a TV show. It feels like a short movie made with the resources of a TV show. It looks cheap and shitty is my point. Look at this! Why are there colored lights on the house? Why does it look like this? This is amazing! So we open on Freddy's trial and he's kept in like the Phantom Zone or something. We learn about a bunch of murdered children.
Victim number 5, 8-year-old Virginia Cross. This is how she looked when we found her. And her 4-year-old brother, Mike Cross.
But his slimy lawyer gets Freddy off on a technicality. You see, his arrest was illegal, that is a verbatim quote, because the cop who booked him, Lieutenant Timothy Blocker, didn't read him his Miranda rights. He's free to go. It's our permissive justice system, letting yet another murder maniac back onto the streets. That's not how that works, obviously. All that would mean is that anything Freddy said before getting his rights read to him could not be entered into evidence. The big room full of murder implements and personal effects of murder victims and several eyewitness accounts of him doing murders, that would still be admissible. But this myth is used to perpetuate the idea the courts are too soft on crime. And that's a profitable lie for the prison industrial complex. So it's worth pointing out that it's horseshit. I don't know, their hands were tied, I guess. That stuff was all present in the original movie, though there at least, Freddy was let off because someone didn't sign a search warrant in the right place, making all of the evidence inadmissible, which at least makes a little more sense, even if it still reinforced that shitty attitude. So the first half of the episode follows Lieutenant Blocker as he tries to decide whether he'll stay true to his values and uphold the law even when it's inconvenient or difficult, or take the easy way out and exact vigilante justice on Freddy to protect his family. And obviously we know which one he's gonna pick. We've seen Nightmare on Elm Street, but the story really drags it out. Alive Freddy is much more of a raving loon than Dream Ghost Freddy ever was. We get treated to several scenes in Freddy vision, where the screen gets all distorted like he's a robot or something, and I have to assume that they did this to hide some of the more graphic violence to get past the censors, but it gives the impression that like Freddy's seeing everything through a murder haze. Whenever we see things from this perspective, we hear women screaming in his head, and he talks to himself in his murder tools. And it definitely doesn't feel like the same very lucid, predatory Freddy we've seen in the past when Freddy is depicted alive. He also seems to be aware that if he is killed, he will return as a murder ghost, as though he's almost counting on it. When the big will he won't he scene finally arrives, Freddy is egging Blocker on to light him on fire.
I am forever.
Gonna have a cookout, huh? Go ahead, light it, I dare you, cop.
Which is weird because I always got the impression that getting set on fire was definitely not something Freddy wanted to happen. Blocker's twin daughters also seem to have some sort of supernatural connection to Freddy. They can sense his presence, and they seem vaguely aware that he can't be killed through ordinary means.
Daddy, you can't kill Freddy, you'll only make it worse.
Freddy also makes a vase explode in one scene, and I don't know if that's meant to be magic or him making a loud noise with his claws that's so loud it shatters the vase, but either way, he seems to have magic powers even before he dies, so that's a choice. Forget the demon sperms, they didn't make him a dream ghost, he just knew how to become a dream ghost on his own somehow. So naturally, after he gets burninated, like so many peasants in the countryside before him, he immediately starts haunting Blocker's dreams and doing the type of stuff you'd expect Freddy Krueger to do. Blocker chalks this up to guilt and trauma and thinks he's losing his grip on sanity. He doesn't know what's real and what's just part of one of the elaborate nightmares he can't stop falling into. Freddy's toying with him, making him paranoid, removing any sense of stability or reality in his life. What really makes this work is that the guy who plays Blocker is absolutely hilariously terrible. Every time he speaks, it's like, oh, hey, why'd you read your line like that?
Leave me alone! Not another dream!
It all ends with Blocker being sedated at the dentist's office, which allows Freddy to get him, so Freddy takes the opportunity to murderify him with a knife glove where the knives are replaced with dentist tools. He just goes to town on Blocker's face, and we see bits of tooth and blood spraying everywhere. So suddenly, this psychological drama about the emotional cost of violence, even righteous violence, and meditation on the difference between justice and vengeance becomes a fucking goofy slasher movie for like a minute right at the end. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Now, don't get me wrong, at no point do they achieve the effect they're going for at all. It's all very poorly done, like this scene where Freddy kills a guy eating fried chicken. And then his blood squirts down, but it looks like ketchup on the plate with the fried chicken. But the rest of the episode feels like it's at least trying to be thoughtful and ambitious. And if this sounds like criticism, it's not. It is, perhaps unintentionally, an incredible punchline to have this sad, dreary little story end with Freddy doing slasher nonsense. I wouldn't have it any other way. The question at the heart of this episode, is it just to preemptively murder a person if that's the only way to prevent them from murdering someone else, goes completely unanswered. I don't think they were ever going to get a particularly good answer to that question, but they didn't even try. Blocker does feel a lot of guilt and he is punished, but you also kind of get the impression that it would have been fine if Freddy hadn't become a murder ghost. Blocker probably would have got away with it. If we're supposed to think you should obey the law, well, the law did let Freddy go and seemed powerless to stop him, so that's a problem. If we're supposed to be okay with vigilante justice, first of all, that's kind of fucked up. And it's also muddled by the fact that we, the audience, know that vigilante justice inevitably makes Freddy way more dangerous. More so even in this version because he seems to know what he's doing here. The lynch mob seems to be playing directly into his knife-edged hands. Nominally, I suppose the story suggests that vigilante justice is bad, which, you know, it is, but it doesn't really give us a good reason why it's bad, other than that you might feel guilty about it later. Now, I'm not a violent person. I'm against the death penalty. I don't even really believe in punitive justice at all, really. But in the specific circumstance where a child-murdering serial killer had just told me, in no uncertain terms, his intent to kill my children, and I had already exhausted the option of trying to get him arrested, I think I could live with killing him. I think I'd be okay. Assuming, of course, he didn't turn into a murder ghost, which would complicate the situation a great deal. Look, do you need to watch this? No, not really. It doesn't have much to offer on its own, and it doesn't really expand on the mythos in any way. It's all stuff we've seen done better before in Nightmare on Elm Street movies. But did I need to watch this? Yes, absolutely. This nourished me. I gained the strength from this I didn't know I had. If you're a Nightmare on Elm Street superfan, it's definitely worth 40 minutes of your time. And hey, what do you think? Did you enjoy, was this one fun for you? If it was, let me know, and I can do more of these little videos about Freddy's nightmares, particularly the episodes with Freddy in them. There are 8. I mean, he hosts all of them, but there are 8 that are about him. So I could do those. What do you think? Do you want to hear more about these hidden Kruegs? Sound off in the comment section, Scaredy Cat Army. As the owner and proprietor of this YouTube channel, I just want to say thanks again to the Ridge wallet for sponsoring this video. Go to ridge.com/scaredycats and use coupon code scaredycats to get 15% off your first order. Tell them Bobby Duke sent you.